Do you ever feel like running away? If so, you're not the only one. The prophet Elijah, who was a great man of God, experienced a time of such intense fear that he responded by running away. The crazy thing is, God had just used Elijah to demonstrate God's awesome power. Do you remember the story about Elijah and the 450 prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel? They had all gathered together, and Elijah told those prophets of Baal to build an altar, and they arranged an ox on the altar, and then he told them to call upon their God. The idea behind it was that whoever was the real God would provide fire to burn up the offering. Well, the prophets of Baal cried out and called out and just carried on. They even cut themselves until they were bleeding. And of course, nothing happened because Baal is not God. Then it came to the prophet Elijah's turn. Before he prayed to God, he had the sacrifice and the wood around it, everything drenched with water. Then he prayed to God, and God sent fire from heaven, completely consuming the entire offering and the wood and the stones and everything around it. Afterwards, Elijah killed all 450 prophets of Baal, and King Ahab went back and told his wife, Jezebel, what had occurred. She sent a message to Elijah, threatening his life by the next day, that she would somehow arrange it, that he would be killed. When Elijah heard that news, he was intensely afraid, and he ran away. Elijah ended up in the wilderness, where he sat under a tree and asked the Lord to take his life. Thankfully, he simply fell asleep instead, and he awakened to an angel touching him. That's where our verses for today come in. So please listen as I read 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 6 and 7. Then he looked, and behold, there was at his head a bread cake baked on hot stones, and a jar of water. So he ate and drank, and lay down again. And the angel of the Lord came again a second time, and touched him, and said, Arise, eat, because the journey is too great for you. I want us to focus on God's mercy and grace, seen here in these verses. Elijah was exhausted, and quite honestly, he was depressed. In prior verses, he said that he was the only one left. He felt all alone. He was running for his life, and he was in a very just lonely and sad and hard place. I believe this angel of the Lord who touched Elijah and provided nourishment for him was none other than the pre-incarnate Christ. And I absolutely love the Lord's tenderness expressed toward Elijah in this place. He didn't fuss at Elijah for running away or for being exhausted. He allowed Elijah to rest, and he provided nourishment for his physical body. He encouraged Elijah to eat because he said, the journey is too great for you. I think we all can identify with that statement. Sometimes life feels too big and too overwhelming, which makes us feel like giving up or running away. If you're in that kind of place today, take heart from this story of Elijah and the angel of the Lord. God is not a harsh and demanding taskmaster. He knows we are weak and frail human beings. Allow the Lord to meet your needs today. Rest in His presence and let your heart be strengthened by grace.